Alright, y'all, I want to record something very important because I'm going to start as a researcher and a journalist, self-proclaimed journalist, start putting this out here to the world. This is an article that was made in May of 2023. It says AI, which is artificial intelligence, that's what that stands for, makes non-invasive mind reading possible by turning thoughts into text. If this was not possible, why would they be putting news articles out here showing that it's possible? Is my first question to ask the world. It says an AI-based decoder that can translate brain activity into a continuous stream of text has been developed, in a breakthrough that allows a person's thoughts to be read non-invasively for the first time. Non-invasively means that they don't have to penetrate you with some type of needle or something like that. That means it's wireless, in other words. The decoder could reconstruct speech with uncanny accuracy while people listen to a story, or even silently imagine one, using only fMRI scan data. Previous language decoding systems have required surgical implants, and the latest advance raises the prospect of new ways to restore speech in patients struggling to communicate due to a stroke or motor neuron disease. Dr. Alexandra Huth, a neuroscientist who led the work at the University of Texas at Austin, we were kind of shocked that it works as well as it does. I've been working on this for 15 years, so it was shocking and exciting when it finally did work. The achievement overcomes a fundamental limitation of fMRI, which is that while the technique can map brain activity to a specific location with incredibly high resolution, there is an inherent time lag which makes tracking activity in real time impossible. The lag exists because fMRI scans measure the blood flow response to brain activity, which peaks and returns to baseline over about 10 seconds, meaning even the most powerful scanner cannot improve on this. It's this noisy, sluggish proxy for neural activity. This hard limit has hampered the ability to interpret brain activity in response to natural speech because it gives a mishmash of information spread over a few seconds. However, the advent of large language models, the kind of AI underpinning OpenAI's ChatGPT, provided a new way in. These models are able to represent in numbers the semantic reading of speech, allowing the scientists to look at which patterns of neuronal activity corresponded to strings of words with a particular meaning rather than attempting to read out activity word by word. The learning process was intensive. 3 volunteers were required to lie in a scanner for 16 hours each, listening to podcasts. The decoder was trained to match brain activity to meaning using a large language model, GPT-1, a precursor to ChatGPT. And I just want to insert right here that ChatGPT was actually something that was very big and talked about earlier this year in 2023 around this time. A lot of people wonder how it is that the AI is able to answer so many questions that it does. That's because it's literally invaded into people's brains and has deciphered right from wrong. So it's getting its knowledge from an amalgamation of different people, all of the people in the United States, based on your federal government. Because we're not the only ones that have it. China gets everything first, and we get everything made in China. If you didn't know that too. So China is on a whole nother level. The G that we're on, 5G, is actually behind China. They're on like 6 or 7G, while we're on 5G, if you research that too. Later, the same participants were scanned listening to a new story or imagining telling a story, and the decoder was used to generate text from brain activity alone. About half the time, the text closely and sometimes precisely matched the intended meanings of the original words. Our system works at the level of idea semantics, meaning this is the reason why what we get out is not the exact words, it's just the gist. For instance, when a participant has played the words, "I don't have my driver's license yet," the decoder translated them as, "She has not even started to learn to drive yet." In another case, the words, "I didn't know whether to scream, or run away. Instead, I said, 'Leave me alone,'" were decoded as, "Started to scream and cry, and she said, 'I told you to leave me alone.'" I'm going to also insert right here, this is public knowledge, stuff that's being studied publicly. And what do you think the advanced technology of the federal government has? If they're letting you know that they do have this in this time, and the federal government operates in secrecy, what do you think the federal government has when they have cameras that can look through your home, can see straight through the walls? The participants were also asked to watch 4 short silent videos while in the scanner, and the decoder was able to use their brain activity to accurately describe some of the content. The paper in Nature Neuroscience reported. For a non-invasive method, this is a real leap forward compared to what's been done before, which is typically single words or short sentences. Sometimes the decoder got the wrong end of the stick and it struggled with certain aspects of language, including pronouns. It doesn't know if it's first person or third person, male or female. Why it's bad at this, we don't know. The decoder was personalized, and when the model was tested on another person, the readout was unintelligible. It was possible for the participants on whom the decoder had been trained to thwart the system, for example, by thinking of animals or quietly imagining another story. We take very seriously the concerns that it could be used for bad purposes. And that's where I'm at today, reporting the federal government, because this has been worked on for 15 years publicly, says Dr. Hugh. But what about the federal government, which operates in secrecy, the military, which operates in secrecy? You think you know what they really have? With just a logical mind? So that's why I create these videos, in order to inform the public. So to continue reading, it says, "We want to make sure people only use these types of technologies." This is right after it says, "We take very seriously the concerns that it could be used for bad purposes, and we have worked to avoid that. We want to make sure people only use these types of technologies when they want to, and that it helps them." A computational neuroscientist at the University of Oxford, who was not involved in the work, described it as technically and extremely impressive, and said it opened up a host of experimental possibilities, including reading thoughts from someone dreaming, or investigating how new ideas spring up from background brain activity. These generative models are letting you see what's in the brain at a new level. It means you can really read out something deep from the fMRI. Professor Shinji Nishimoto of Osaka University, who has pioneered the reconstruction of visual images from brain activity, described the paper as a significant advance. It said, did you hear that? It says, "Who has pioneered the reconstruction of visual images from brain activity?" Described the paper as a significant advance. The paper showed that the brain represents continuous language information, including perception and imagination, in a compatible way. This is a non-trivial finding and can be a basis for the development of brain-computer interfaces. The team now hope to assess whether the technique could be applied to either more portable brain imaging systems, such as functional near-infrared spectroscopy, which is FNIRS. Okay, that's it when it comes to that. So I did just want to put this article out here. The source of this is theguardian.com. I will be copying and pasting and putting it in the description area. So I did just want to record that and let that be known to the world, because I know some people are not going to do this research. And with what I'm dealing with, the federal government is harassing me on a more heavy level, because the technology that they have that you see the beginning of right here is far more advanced for them. So everything that they're saying is problematic as far as their understanding. I'm witnessing the federal government read my thoughts in real time, respond to my thoughts in real time. And how do I know that they're reading my thoughts and responding to my thoughts in real time? Because I can't think throughout the day without my body parts being warmed on my left and right side. They pretty much turn my whole body into a left side for no and right side for yes. Okay. And they also sexually molest me as well. And so that's something I just wanted to put out here. So whatever technology it is that they are using, it's not only reading your mind, but it is something that can take over every cell at that point in your body, because that's the only way that you can really simulate touch. It's something that messes with the cells in the cell and causes a certain feeling. And they can do pretty much anything. They can zap you with electrical signals, shoot pains through your body, warm your body parts. They can warm my spine. They do different things to harass me that are not medical conditions. But I literally have went to the doctor today. I got my blood tested, STD tested, all of that stuff, so that I can show the results to the world. And then beyond that, when I can show and prove that I have no STDs, no other blood problems or anything like that, I'm talking to a psychiatrist. And upon me talking to a psychiatrist, I'm going to see and go through an evaluation and see whether they label me as a paranoid schizophrenic. Because that's something that they, of course, consider whenever you say that the government is following, after I talk to a doctor in the emergency room. So I'm pretty sure y'all will take y'all's wisest guesses. Some of y'all will say you'll make your own assumptions. But I'm doing this to help the world and inform the world about what is potential with this technology that the federal government does have. That's the way that I say that the federal government is doing it, because nobody else has this type of technology besides the military or the federal government. And the federal government pretty much funds the military. So regardless, it's the government at the end of the day that's harassing me. Why me? I mean, you can look at me and take the wisest guess as far as what I do, what I've discovered. The code that I write in as far as current harassment. I can't take I can't see behind their computers and stuff. That's why I can't just take a picture of them doing what they're doing to me. I have to take the wisest guess of who is doing this, because I know I'm not mentally unstable. But I know that's the first thing that anybody like y'all out here would consider is mental instability. Okay? Call me crazy or something. But I'm just showing y'all with these type of articles out here, the NSA and FBI definitely have the possibility to do what they are doing. Even the CIA, yes. Just because they're international doesn't mean that they don't have the potential to do what they're doing. But more so, the NSA is computer-based, and all they have to do is sit behind a computer all day and do what they do. The FBI, they have different departments, cryptanalysis, and different things like that. But they do different things and focus on different areas. When it comes down to the NSA, that's strictly computers mostly, and they all have the time to sit behind a computer and watch somebody and harass me as a job, because it happens day and night. Everything they just said about dreams right there, I literally in my sleep am harassed, whether sexually or them warming my body parts. So I'm watched through the night as well. So if a federal agent saw this, they would be able to, because I am contacting the FBI after this government shutdown. If a federal agent were able to see this, they would be able to see like a lighthouse in the middle of the night. I mean, somebody the activity of me being, of course, Javon Anthony Jr., if I'm in the system, in fact, whether NSA or FBI, standing out and being watched by a bunch of federal employees. Because I was on Reddit, and that's how I found out that I was being watched in the first place. By seeing an online number in a brand new community that nobody knows of. I created a brand new community with a random name. And I kept on refreshing the page over and over again, and somehow I got up to 234 people over time. That's the highest number it got to. I reported this to the state police, and in a crime report, whether they kept my report that I wrote down, I don't know. I'll be going back with a follow-up report to see whether they kept that or not here soon. I drew a picture of the chief and everything, so that'll be me asking him to see whether they kept that evidence, because as they left out of the door, they said that it would be kept as evidence. But this is why I have stopped streaming on YouTube, because I've been dealing with and enduring this harassment every single day, which can drive somebody crazy for real. But I ain't went crazy. Okay, and especially with the gay stuff, the sick. Because if it's not a woman doing this, it's a male. It's got to be one. We're not going to say it's an alien. It's either a male or a female, and I could take the wisest guess when you're being harassed at the back and front, which one that is. So that's a sick male doing that, a sick gay male. And I don't support that at all. I got a huge problem with it. I got a huge problem with anybody reading your mind without consent, entering your body with any form of technology without consent. Somewhere, it's just hard to accept that there is somebody right now, even, because I'm feeling things right now, and I'm not, of course, saying anything. They mess with my feet, mainly. That's where most of it is at today, as far as the harassment. They send left and no through my feet, all of that. Left side for no, right side for yes, like I was saying. And it's just hard for me to accept that there's some government agent sitting up in an agency building somewhere with my mind, my body, and everything broadcasted on the screen for them to just look at and watch like TV, and that's their job. They get paid to harass one person. I mean, you shouldn't be harassing anybody, but for whatever reason, that many people are sitting up, and I don't know if it's multiple states or one state. One agency, one building, I don't know. But they're sitting up and they're watching me, and I'm on the hunt to find out what building this is, because I'm not going to live the rest of my life dealing with this. And I'm also doing this to help other people. So I don't know whether y'all will call me or label me mentally disabled or not. But quite frankly, I do not care, to be honest. I don't care, because I know what I'm dealing with. But whatever you choose to, I respect what you choose to a degree. Only besides the fact of me showing the proof that this is possible through the articles that they're showing, and that you can't be labeled just crazy 100%. If I could understand that we were in the 1960s and this was just 100% not possible, unheard of. Even a cell phone at that time was unheard of. But we live in a time right now where even most people like you will question whether your phone is reading your mind or not. Man, I was just thinking that in my phone, and next thing I know, it just popped up on my phone. How many of you have heard that? So I can respect it to a degree, because you don't understand that you're not in my body. But as long as you don't do the due diligence to do your own research and hear out unbiasedly what I'm saying, that's where I'll start to get disrespectful, if anybody starts to get disrespectful to me, whether online or in person. Because I'm very intelligent and I know what's going on with me. Now, I do this to help people, to keep other people from being a victim, and it's happening to anybody else. Okay? One day I'll be appreciated. That's all I have to say.